Hello and welcome to the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. I'm Clay Link of RotoWire.com, here with FSWA Hall of Famer Todd Zola. Todd, happy Cade Anderson Eve to all those who celebrate.
Hopefully.
Yeah, after much anticipation and speculation, we have received reports that Cade Anderson will be called up to make his major league debut tomorrow, Saturday. Pretty exciting. The lefty coming up, debuting at home against the Cubs. And I've seen a lot of people saying maybe too little too late for the Mariners, but they're only 3 games back in that division. That division's wide open. Astros currently leading with a 500 record, 64-64. So still time for Anderson to make an impact. Maybe not, it's a lot to ask for a guy like that to get them over the hump, but he could help. And we got about 5 weeks of the regular season left.
Well, first of all, rest in peace to my projection engine. When I went to
broken again.
Yeah, man. Well, that's when you're 21 at AA and you put up, my pinball numbers, video game numbers. That's what's going to happen. So that is nuts. But we calmed it down. Unless Anderson can hit, which he probably can, right? That's how good he is. That's the Mariners' issue right now is offense and keeping track of the number of outs when they're down 22 runs. Other than those two things, they're doing really well, hitting and counting.
Well, I should clarify, the Mariners 4 back in the division, 3 back of a wild card spot.
Okay.
So still, 4 games in 5 weeks might be tough to make up, but possible.
Yeah, and sometimes it's not so much the number of games, but the number of teams you need to climb over. So it may actually be easier to get to the division than the wild card.
Yeah, and the Astros just got clobbered by the Angels of all teams yesterday.
Yeah.
And, Rangers, pretty uninspiring play lately, so possibility for the Mariners to still claw back into contention, as long as they don't face the Brewers.
Yeah, they're going to need, you saw the outings clearly, better than what George Kirby was able to give him, especially coming off of that 22-run shellacking. You would have liked Kirby to step up. He was unable. Six in the first and then settled down. But, 6 in the first is pretty rough.
Yeah, so as long as, Julio Rodriguez keeps track of the number of outs, doesn't throw the ball into the stands anymore, could hang around. But, yeah, Cade Anderson breaking your prospect or your projection engine. Yeah. The last guy to do that was what, Vladdy?
Vlad did it from the offensive point of view. It's age. It's more about the age that when you're 22 at AA, and as we've talked about, James talks about it a lot back in the day a month ago on the Prospect Show. Age to level is important, and 22 years old or 21, depending upon when he turned sometime this year when you actually do the numbers at AA. And the thing that James talks about is Seattle's one of those teams that doesn't like to put their star pitchers into the Pacific Coast League environment, wants to protect them a bit.
Yes, that's why he's been at AA all this time.
Yeah.
Certainly has pitched well enough to earn a promotion. But yeah, I get that totally with development.
You say all this time, it's like 18 starts. It's not it's not a 2.5 years, right? It's barely half a year.
Yeah, but that makes a lot of sense, just not wanting to maybe affect a guy's confidence, and maybe he gets into bad habits pitching in the PCL.
That's the thing I think more than anything is, oh no, the ball's not breaking. I need to do this, that, and the other thing. No, you don't, because you're going to go to a park that likes you almost as much as your Tacoma does.
Yeah, that's an interesting wrinkle to development for teams with PCL affiliates, certainly. But yeah, if you've been waiting on Cade, congratulations. Budget's dwindling down, so I'm kind of interested to see how much he goes for.
You put him, you start him right away. The Cubs are, they're fine, right? It's a good offense, but gosh, this guy's special. I think I'm starting him.
Yeah. His numbers have just been so good, and widely considered the number one pitching prospect in baseball.
Yeah, in my ESPN daily streaming piece that I just filed for tomorrow, I said steam Anderson. It's a special talent.
Yeah. And looking at our projected starters grid, which, by the way, we do project out a full month, so 8:22 versus the Cubs.
Almost the rest of the season.
Yeah, so all tentative, of course, but then it'd be at Toronto versus the Athletics, at the Athletics, and then at Colorado.
So there's two variables in that Anderson has not pitched on less than a week's rest with Tacoma. And
That's a good thing to point out. Certainly.
And he's going to be on like an 8 days rest, something like that here, which is fine. And then we're not sure yet what Seattle's going to do with the rest of their rotation. I mean, if you stay with a 6-man, and there's going to be a couple of weeks with off days, then he'll continue to pitch. Anderson will every once a week, right? So we'll be curious to see what happens there. But who do you take out now with Castillo out? Do you take would Hancock be? I think you go with the 6-man.
Yeah, Bryce Miller hasn't really pitched well, but keeping Anderson on that once a week might be a priority.
I have an idea. Why don't they piggyback them? Oh wait, never mind.
Might be some pushback from the members of that rotation.
Next time I hear piggybacks at a children's birthday party, I don't want to hear piggyback again.
Yeah, the Mariners' arms certainly don't want to hear it. But it should be fun to watch tomorrow. But let's talk about some of the pickups in the Stake League. Cade Anderson already stashed.
Yeah.
Of course. Trevor Story at $5. Sounds like he could be back as soon as tonight. Still waiting to see if he is activated from the 60-day IL, Trevor Story. But, the Red Sox, man, I think they're behind both the Yankees and the Rays still in terms of betting odds to come out of the AL. But getting Story back and Roman Anthony potentially not too far behind. They're doing one out of the park.
Yeah, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing now, and that is winning series. You can't. You don't want to go on a longer. They had a long losing streak, of course, right after the goofiness. But now 2 out of 3 against Arizona. Blah blah blah. Let's take 2 out of 3 against San Francisco. That's what you want the teams. That's what you want your teams competing now. You can't expect to sweep everything. So take 2 out of 3. If you sweep a team like San Francisco, fine. Story's not guaranteed to play. He's saying all the right things. I mean, he was kind of a Cora guy. And there was some curiosity how that whole thing would be handled when Story comes back, because he was kind of outspoken when Cora was let go. But he's saying all the right things. I want to help the team win. I'm in the greatest shape of my life. This time off did me really good. I'm focusing. Blah blah blah. Monasterio's been really good. So we'll have. I think interesting to see how Chad Tracy plays it.
Yeah, it could justify easing Story in with maybe 4 to 5 starts a week, and just hoping he's able to contribute.
You could also justify a little second base. You could use Monasterio and or Story at second. I mean, Sogarn's been nice, Sigler's been nice, but I think you can have some sort of a rotation if you want.
And Roman Anthony, first game of his rehab, absolutely launched one out of the park, and I'd estimate maybe about a week away. Does that sound about right? Maybe longer, but
I think they're going to sort of play it by ear, but I think right around, we might be talking about Anthony debuting on next week's pod.
Well, returning, he did play a little bit.
You're right. I'm sorry. Returning from the IL.
Feels like a debut, given how long.
Doesn't it though?
It sounds like he's finally healthy again, though, which is huge, and feeling back to his old self.
Yeah, I want to, as a Sox fan, I just want him playing again. Not so much playing again as now we won't be hearing all the stories. Oh, he misses his buddy Marcelo. He's out drinking every night. Just let's play baseball, fake people. It's all these people.
It feels like he is happy Marcelo's getting a new, fresh start.
Yeah, blame me for reading Reddit. It's on me.
Well, speaking of returns tonight, possible returns, we had a question about Joe Musgrove.
Yes,
in the
we
chat.
did.
I have him stashed in the Stake League, so that kind of answers the question. I am stashing. Could be back tonight, although I don't think it's official yet. But threw 70 pitches in his last rehab outing and gave up 5 runs on 9 hits. And probably not starting him tonight, but I'd like to see how he fares first. But I do think, even though it's been a long time since we've seen him, it is Joe Musgrove and probably worth the stash.
I think so. I've got him in our staff keeper league at 10 units. I tried to trade him for a keeper, but didn't work out. And then when I lost Hunter Green, I said, you know what? Maybe Musgrove gives me a little bit of what Green was going to give me, because I lost Logan Henderson to deal. I made the move. So, who knows? At 10 units, Musgrove could be a starter next year. This is a league that goes, starting pitching goes 46 to 56, Yeah. So I'm not, like you mentioned, I don't think I'm starting him tonight. He's gone, 70 pitches, like you said. Already good for 80 or 85, which is 5 or 6 innings. But he wasn't all that sharp.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, other pickups in the stake league last night. It's do or die time for fantasy managers here. It's the real crunch time. Rafael Flores at 4, Cal Quantrill at 3, Michael Massey at 3. A lot of people just plugging holes in their lineup, which makes sense. Yep. Jose Fermin at 2, and Brian Bayo for those Red Sox has kind of found some relevance again here. A bulk relief role.
It's the question is no longer how come he's so good as a reliever and so bad as a starter. The question now is, how the heck is he doing that great as the numbers are ridiculous as a reliever. Ridiculous. He almost doubled his ERA, giving up 1 run last time.
Yeah, good point. It's kind of amazing just how much better he has been in that role. We see that a fair amount, but just to this extent, not often.
Yeah, and now you put him back. To me, you can put him back in the rotation. Now they did that once. The Red Sox did. I don't mean to turn this into an all Red Sox podcast. We'll get to other things, but he stunk. So Sean Burke's gone back and forth, and he's done pretty well lately. In the rotation. So there's a couple of guys that just seem to, and if you do it strategically, if you get a lefty out there in the first inning, it helps Bayo, and maybe that's what it is. Maybe this is one of those instances like the Rays used to do, where it's not just, it seems to be better second time through, but Tracy's strategically using the right reliever to open.
Yes, absolutely. Ezekiel Tovar for $1, Eduardo Valencia for $1. Jordan Romano finally picked up here. Andres Chaparro has been kind of quietly pretty good for Washington. Randall Grichuk. Sorry?
Yeah, him and Ortiz are DH first base and providing some pop.
$0 adds Randall Grichuk. And I picked up Jose Urquidy, kind of like Bayo. Maybe not to the extent of Bayo, but Urquidy at least had one good bulk relief outing. 6 scoreless, only 2 hits, no walks, and 8 Ks. So I picked him up on a $0 ad. I think I'll probably start him over Zebby Matthews, who is on the road this week, and he's been quite a bit worse on the road compared to home. Yeah,
you kind of like Urquidy as a bulk reliever. He only, I don't think he's going to go 5 innings very often now, coming off the injury, etc. 3 1/3 gets it done.
Yeah, and I believe he's going to be on our 2-start list, of course, bulk, but counts anyway.
Yep.
Drew Anderson, 0, and Jack Leiter, another $0 ad. Some other names to potentially consider if you're in a league that allows stashing. Seaver King. The Nationals moved C.J. Abrams over to second base.
They want to.
Yeah. Well, they're kind of transitioning him.
He's been hurt. He's been hurt.
True. But I was, Nasim Nunez has got 40 steals, and those have been really helpful for fantasy. But I was looking at Nasim Nunez since the All-Star break, a .435 OPS.
They love his glove, man.
Yeah, that's true, and with good reason. But Seaver King I think he's homered in like 4 straight games, so potential call up here.
Maybe the narrative is short term. It's great defense, but Seaver King isn't going anywhere, right? He's going to be. If it's not now, it's next year. This is not like a next 6 years. It's going to be Nunez and Abrams up the middle.
Yeah, should be Seaver King get an opportunity at some point, but maybe not this year. But he's certainly beating the door down, it would seem. Tyler Stevenson, Augustine Ramirez. This is a 1-catcher league, so probably rostered in a lot of 2-catcher leagues. But would you give Augustine Ramirez another chance? I
have him in a few places. You know what? I haven't been following him I know early on it wasn't happening. Maybe in the past week he's picked it up, but
Got a couple of multi-hit games recently, but
we talk about this with Eric because we were on opposite ends. I was high on Ramirez and he was not, and he's right. In any time that you're relying on a catcher to beat out ground balls and to steal bases, even if you're athletic, there's some inherent risk in that profile, right? So, and
the steals maybe kind of blinded people to the flaws.
Yeah, I was for sure. Mm-hmm. I just thought he was. I thought he'd be able to hit well enough, and to overcome the defense. And Joe Mack is good, right? Yeah. So can Ramirez's bat play elsewhere? Second base, but I don't see him going the Craig Biggio route. Well, maybe he will. We never, you don't know.
Well, since his return to the majors, Agustin Ramirez batting .290, .371, .387. No homers, but does have a steal. So,
Can he get him active in the XFL? I think he is because they have nobody else healthy.
Yeah, in a lot of leagues, 2 catchers, 15 teams. I think he probably clears the bar, but we'll see. One person mentioned that he dropped Stevenson for Kirk. What about a run Alejandro Kirk's been on? Absolutely unreal run for Alejandro Kirk. I think he's been pretty much the number one catcher.
Yeah, he went through he was hot and he got hurt, but he's back again, right? Yeah. He's back.
Yes, sir. Well, that'll do it for pickups from last night. We'll get into our 2-start pitchers here in a moment. First, we will pause briefly for a quick word from our prepaid sponsors. All right, we are back here on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast. Clay Link here with Todd Zola, looking ahead to next week, the final full week of August.
Oof.
You can follow along with us, of course, our Probable Pitchers page. Go to Probable Pitchers, custom start date of 8/24/2026. And Merrill Kelly starts things off. Kind of an easy one, I would think. Just looking here at versus the Cubs at San Francisco. Maybe not a 0. I'd actually, with those matchups versus the Cubs at San Francisco, might go 1. Might be more of a points league one, though. Not a ton of appeal here.
Kelly, shouldn't he be the comparison 3? He should be the guy we're comparing against at 3. I'm with you, though. I mean, he's good enough that he can chip in with a 1, but I'm no longer as confident as I once was with Merrill. Well, that's kind of a dumb thing to say because he's not very good anymore. But I'm with you in a 1.
Yeah, I've been trying to find somebody to help out in the Tout Wars head-to-head league, and I might swap him out, like swap out Carmen Majinski for him. But that's scraping the bottom of the barrel here. It's been a league like that. It's just I'm always losing the guys. I'm always playing a man down, it feels like, which in a points league is never fun. So trying to just maintain a full, healthy roster can be a challenge. Jeffrey Springs for the Athletics versus Minnesota versus Baltimore. It was mentioned in the chat by Angelo that the Athletics home all next week. So maybe you pick up a A's hitter or 2. But
what's left?
Yeah, true.
They've got 4 guys out for this. Well, Kurtz is maybe out for the season. No, there's still a little bit of help there, but the A's have been decimated.
Yeah, that's true. They've been in bad shape for a while now. But Springs 3-11 with a 6.02 ERA versus Minnesota versus Baltimore. Would you start him in any circumstances?
I don't trust Springs on the road anymore. There was a time you can use him on the road. I know he's at home for 2. I don't trust him at all anymore.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's probably a 0.
Yeah, for me too.
No 2-star pitchers for Atlanta, but A.J. Smith-Shawver apparently sticking in that rotation.
Yeah.
Would line up to face the Dodgers next week, which you don't love, but I think he'd be a guy I could certainly see myself putting into like a low dollar bid on this week. Not to turn him loose right away, but to see what happens. Definitely like what Smith-Shawver has shown in limited action. Been out a long time, of course. before he returned recently. Chris Bassett at St. Louis at the Athletics. We're really, posting some pretty low numbers here, but is Bassett even a 1?
No, because he hasn't been, to me, hasn't been pitching regularly enough that we can trust him for 5 innings. No, to me, he's a 0. And I'm being, even though run scoring's down, this is now the time of year for me where I'm going to be really sure about my 2-start guys.
Yeah, I know you're pretty aggressive early, but
yeah, I know scoring is down, and we're heading towards September where it goes really down. But you still can move in the ratios. People think you can't move. You still can move in the ratios, and a 7-run, 4-inning outing at this time of the year hurts even more because you don't have as much time to make up for it.
Well, here's one who will come in with a bit of a higher grade. Ranger Suarez at Miami, at the Yankees. Kind of a tough, way to round it out in Yankee Stadium, but at Miami is pretty nice. I think you gave him maybe a 5 recently. I think I'm
not
go
anymore
4.
though. A point about the Yankees though. Guess who's last in the league in scoring over the past 6 weeks?
The Yankees.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't.
I don't know the exact time frame. It's at least a month. They and I know Judge is coming back. Yada yada. Bellinger first, hopefully.
Too, yeah.
But it's been rough. Suarez has not been going deep into games. That's the issue there.
I still think I'm going to go 4, but what's the?
I'm going to put him as the comparison 3.
Interesting. Okay, got you down as a 3 on Ranger Suarez. Next up, we have Kevin Gausman at Arizona versus the Reds. He might no-hit the Reds.
Is he
revenge game actually against the Reds?
Is he healthy?
That's a good question.
Didn't he leave the last game early?
Let's see, left hand cramp, which.
Oh, that's right. His fielding hand.
Yeah,
cramped. Okay.
Yeah, so should be okay, but.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Reds? I think. Well, they non-tendered him. I think was the thing the Reds did many years ago.
Louis Castillo can strike out 10 Reds. Gausman can set a record. No, I don't know that I can trust Gausman with a 5 in this one, even though he probably should be. I'm gonna leave him at a 4. He hasn't earned the 5.
Yeah, I think that's right. Pretty nice option, certainly, but I wouldn't go 5. 4, though, for me. Chase Burns at San Francisco at the Cubs. I think he is a 5. The Reds are a tough watch right now, but not on Burns Day.
I keep saying, they're going to slow him down, but they have given fewer innings, etc. They've given no indication. So as long as we haven't heard that he's not pitching against the Cubs, he's a 5.
Absolutely. Parker Messick at the Angels versus Kansas City. A 2.54 ERA. It's he just keeps getting the job done. Parker Messick only 9-8, but he's holding up his end of the bargain every time out, pretty much. So, at the Angels versus KC, and that's got to be a 5 for Parker Messick.
Yeah, to me, it's a matchup 5. It's not a Messick is a 5. Mm-hmm. He's close, but to me, it's a matchup 5.
Ryan Feltner, Kyle Freeland, they are on the road for 2, but I don't think either guy's pitched well enough to justify a start here in fantasy leagues, even though they are on the road. I think that's probably a 0 for both Feltner and Freeland. Is that right?
It is. I give Freeland a little bit more of a chance, but he's in matchups. Washington's been crushing lefties all year, and Atlanta is now kind of back on a roll again. That guy Acuna, Lewis and Hell's big brother, is doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's pretty good, I'd say. But yeah, I think, like you said, it's just not the time to really roll the dice with these types
Austin
of
Riley's kind of warming up a little bit.
Riley?
He's not crushing things, but he's chipping in with some key hits. And Olsen's just Olsen, man. He's
awesome.
He's back. Here's your guy.
Yeah, Jose Urquidy. You mentioned I picked him up in the stake league, and probably, hopefully, a bulk relief. That'd be ideal for fantasy managers.
The White Sox have been doing that, right?
Yeah, I think they kind of have a good formula here.
Yeah.
with some of these back end guys. Versus Texas at Minnesota. He had such a good outing last time out. 2 hits, over 6 scoreless, 8 Ks, I believe. It is still Jose Urquidy, who's out a while. But man, I was thinking 3, maybe a 2 is more realistic, but I feel pretty
Gosh,
good
that's
about
exactly what I was thinking. It's like,
Really?
yeah. I mean, I can see him producing as a 3, but I think 2 is the safer play.
Yeah, I'm still a little anxious about it, but
Yeah.
with my last active spot in a 16-team league, I think I will turn him loose this week. See what happens. Kiter Montero versus Tampa Bay versus the Dodgers. He had been so good, but I was kind of waiting for the regression monster to catch up, and I think he has had a couple hiccups lately.
Yeah, and it's mainly he's not as dominant as his. If you watch, I think we've talked about this. When you watch him pitch, it looks like he should be striking out more guys, but he doesn't. Sometimes that means he's going to. It just hasn't happened yet. But
three strikeouts last time out, and then actually a goose egg before that against Cleveland.
And these are both of these teams thrive on putting the ball in play. The Rays and the Dodgers. So I mean,
that's a really tough 2-step.
I'm still going to go 2, and that may be 2 times too high, but I'm going to go 2.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think, given those matchups, I might lean Urquidy over Montero, but I think they're both 2s for me this week. No 2-star pitchers for Houston. They did call up, Ethan Pecco?
Yeah, and Lambert got crushed.
Yeah, I did.
A couple guys have been, a couple of the kind of the decent streamers over the course of the second half have been crushed this week. That's why they're streamers, though, right?
Yeah, true. I was riding high with Lambert in the main event, but it was yesterday it came crashing down.
I think Martinez got hit. Rasmussen got hit. Rasmussen is more than a streamer, but a couple of guys that I wrote up about and I kind of checked on. I was like, did not do so good.
Seth Lugo. This was tough because he's pretty middling at Toronto, at Cleveland. Toronto's kind of come on a little bit.
A little bit, but neither team hits a lot of home runs, and that's kind of what Lugo's thing is. So, I mean...
Good point.
I mean, to me, is a 2 or a 3. Do I trust a 3?
I think I'm going to go 2.
I want to go 3. If I'm going to try to, make a name for myself on Lugo, that's probably not a good idea. I'm going to stick with a 2. But I'm a little more confident using him this week than I've been in previous weeks.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. George Clausen. We've talked about him in recent weeks. I forget who it was, and I apologize for not giving credit, but somebody mentioned his slider, which is pretty incredible. If you've seen that, it's may already be one of the best breaking balls in the game. Versus Cleveland, versus Philly. You don't like the second half of that, but
both at home.
I do like what he's shown lately. I might put him a notch above Lugo in Montero and the like at a 3, but maybe a leap of faith on George Clausen.
I mean, he's got with Philly anyway. He's got the haven't seen him before. He does have the out pitch. I'm going to go 2 though.
2, yeah. That off the bat 3 felt high, but that makes sense. 2. All right, Tyler Phillips. I'm sorry, I skipped the Dodgers, but that's because they don't have any 2-star pitchers.
Glasnow coming back this week, maybe, but they still don't have any 2 starters. But
so they temporarily moved to 5, right? But getting Glasnow back, they'll go back to 6, I believe. But anyway, Tyler Phillips versus Boston at Washington. I gotta say, this guy's a little bit of a blind spot for me. Just I don't have him anywhere. Kind of middling strikeouts.
He has just enough. Or he'll throw a decent outing, amid a bunch of stinkers. So at least you're starting to think about it. I can't with these matchups. I can't give him. He's a 0 for me. But someone else may have watched him pitch or something and more confident.
2 wild pitches over 2 innings his last time out.
Yeah.
Just not. I mean, he was going 5 pretty regularly, but yeah, just not enough here.
And he shouldn't be in the rotation, but there's just so many injuries with the Marlins.
I might go 1, but what did you say on Phillips?
I'm going to go 0, but admit kind of having the same blind spot that you do. So go with your gut, folks.
Unexciting and not somebody I've really paid much mind to this year. No 2-star pitchers for the Brewers. I believe Shane Drohan's slotting back in tonight, so
yeah,
they got a number of guys.
Kind of messed us up this week with them changing the rotation around a few times, but that's what they do.
And no 2-star pitchers for the Twins either. But the Twins hanging around too, right? That division's kind of weird, and just the AL wild card just completely up in the air. But let's see, where are the Twins exactly? All right, in the they are... Actually, they are in the wild card spot right now.
They've been jumping in and out with Baltimore, right?
2 games under 500.
Yeah, they in Baltimore have kind of been jumping in and out.
How about that Pete Alonso non-homer this week? That was kind of strange.
Did you think getting frustrated because if I hear you can see the white next to the pole one more time, it was clearly above. I'm not going to say over because that implies things. It was clearly above the pole. So, and then the other thing that's frustrating me is all you do is put a laser on the pole and know if it went, fair or foul. Really? Shouldn't a little red line up there is going to, don't you have to have a thing that goes wide? And then if it, the ABS is a rectangle or, so it's not necessarily a rectangle because it has to do with the batter's height, but it's not like a straight line. Shooting a straight line at the top of the pole isn't going to tell you anything unless it hit the line, which is, that's not what we're talking about here. So people are being a little bit, I don't know, pedantic. They're just, it's not myopic. I don't know what the word may be, but they're being unrealistic. And again, there's that angle that shows the ball going by the pole, but then look at the wide view. It went 10 feet over the pole.
Interesting. Yeah, it seemed like Alonso and their manager were convinced that it was a homer, but strange situation.
How can you be convinced when you're 300 and something feet away and you don't know exactly when it went over the pole?
Yeah.
So
I do feel like it's kind of like the NFL thing where it's like, put a chip in the ball or something where they have the technology where we should be able to figure this out.
I think I agree that we have the technology. I just some of the ideas that people are saying are just really kind of silly. We talk about it though. Maybe that home run gives the Yankees home field advantage in the wild card. It could come down to something.
Yeah, it's just weird that at this level to have those questions when
I agree with that there should be a way to tell, but it's not as simple as putting a laser on the pole or a better camera angle.
Fair enough. Zac Thornton of the New York Mets, home for 2 versus Milwaukee versus Houston. You love that, he's home for both of these. Zach with just the C, as we found out earlier this year. Now, last time out, he did give up a couple homers, but struck out 7 over 5 innings against San Diego. Overall, he's been pitching okay. He hasn't given up more than 3 runs since, May. Both at home again versus Milwaukee versus Houston. I think I'm going to put Zac Thornton on that 3 tier, but what say you? Would you go higher at all?
It's tough. Because, we've seen a little bit. We haven't seen a lot in both Milwaukee and Houston. Well, Milwaukee's shown they're capable of putting up 22 runs. Oh, wait, no. Well, maybe not against everybody.
Against some position players.
Gosh. You know what? I think he is missing enough bats. I'm going to go with that 3. The matchups, though, are sort of like in the middle. You can't make a definitive... That's a great offense, and that's a terrible offense. Milwaukee's a grinding offense, and Houston's kind of inconsistent.
Yeah, well put. Well, let's pause briefly. We'll take this opportunity here to bring a quick word from our friends over at Circa before we get back to our 2-star pitcher list here. A circa $1,000,008 and Circa Survivor are going big for the 2026 football season with $30 million in guaranteed prizes. Cash in this football season in Las Vegas with 3 Circa Sports contests. Entries starting at $1,000 with no rake. There is the Circa Million, 18 weeks of point spread action, 128 ways to win. Winner takes home $1 million. There's also the Circa Survivor. Pick one winner each week. Last one standing wins. $20 million guaranteed to the winners. And the Circa Grandissimo, a massive contest with a $100,000 entry. Enter in Nevada, play from anywhere. $30 million guaranteed. Visit circasports.com/contests for details. Fantasy football picking up hot and heavy, and we got a ton of great content at RotoWire. So give us a shot if you haven't already. I think you'll be impressed.
Good luck to Jeff and in Vegas this weekend.
Yeah, I think if you give us a shot, you'll be impressed not only with all the tools, but also the new additions to the site, the Rankings Hub, which is great. And I think it just keeps getting better and better here at RotoWire.
A lot of good videos, too.
Absolutely. No 2-star pitchers for the Yankees. Looks like they do have a doubleheader next weekend, but
yep,
they got a number of arms there. Zach Wheeler kind of hit a bit of a roadblock, but still a 2.92 ERA overall at Seattle, at the Angels. I think even with his recent struggles, you got to go 5 given these matchups.
Yeah, I think it could be just the dead arm period, but it's a little bit off kilter because of when he started and stuff. So I'm going to go 5 as well. Seattle and LA. And LA's not the Angels is a good hitting park, but even so, I think we're going to need to go 5. Next one's interesting though. I wonder where we're going there.
Yeah, but with Wheeler, you knew he was going to maybe hit a wall at some point coming back from.
Well, you were surprised that he was as good as he was, right?
Yeah. I mean, shocking that he was as good as he was.
Yeah.
Especially given the track record of pitchers coming off thoracic outlet. But yeah, you kind of alluded to Braxton Ashcraft.
Are we gonna do it? We're gonna do it.
San Diego at St. Louis. So on the road for 2, but pretty good venues. How good has he been? Wow, he had a
really good
game. Yeah.
And all right, so he's gone 8 and 9 innings, but he's only thrown 85 and 80 pitches.
Yeah, that's a good point. 80, 85, 82. He did throw 93 on July 26th. But
he's really efficient. Now he's given up a home run in 4 straight games, but that's the only runs given up in each of those games. Mm-hmm. So I mean, we say we don't like to do it unless you've shown it, but I'm going to give Ashcraft a 5.
Wow.
I feel like Simon on one of those on that America Has Talent or something. I'm gonna get him the golden buzzer or whatever. I'm gonna give him a 5.
I'm going 4, but I certainly hear what you're saying. He had that complete game with 10 Ks and seems to be trending in a really positive direction.
He'd normally be nervous because that means he's going to throw 70 pitches because of the pitch count, but he hasn't. He's been throwing mid 80s. It's just so dang efficient.
Related, since we're talking about Pittsburgh, it doesn't line up for 2, but. And do you think Paul Skeens, do you think it'd behoove this team to shut him down, or do you just keep riding him out and hope he turns a corner down the stretch here?
Listen to us tomorrow on the MLB Network Radio. We're probably going to talk about that. I don't know that you shut him down.
It's really hard to figure out what to make of this situation.
Because I want to know more about what's happening in that. Has there been a plan that didn't work? I'm purposely going to not throw as hard. I don't know that there's so many weird things going on there.
I'm sick of seeing his beach picks. I'll say that.
Well, you don't think he had that gut 2 years ago?
Yeah, maybe.
But
it's just a little strange that The whole situation is strange.
Well, I don't know that I want to see any pitcher with his shirt off. I'm pretty sure we'd be pretty disappointed seeing some of our idols with their shirt off as far as best pitching go.
Yeah, I don't want to see Scooble with his shirt off.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't. Do I have him anywhere? I don't think I have him anywhere. But I don't know that we drop him. But I think it's the point where fantasy leaguers have to consider not starting him. Which who would have thunk?
Oh. I don't think I'm there, but I mean, maybe I just have the blinders on. But there was that meatball draft that I think James was a part of.
Yep.
And Rob DiPietro hosted, and I think he went in the fifth round. 2027. That's kind of amazing.
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of recency bias in that.
Yeah, very true, very true. Robbie Ray finally got his first win with San Diego versus Pittsburgh at Tampa Bay. Versus Pitt at Tampa Bay. Not a 5 and not even a 4 for me, but 11-7 with a 3.20 ERA. I do like these matchups overall. At Tampa Bay isn't great, but spacious park there at Tropicana. So I think 3 for Ray makes sense.
Yeah, I'm with you, and the reason for me is Tampa doesn't strike out, and Ray's not missing as many bats as normal. Mm-hmm. You can't, the strikeouts are not just important to keep ratios low; they're a category. If it's either roto or points, and he's not getting the normal strikeouts that Ray gets, because that makes up for the wildness.
True. Yeah, he's going to be walking guys, so you need him to overcome that with some swing and miss. No 2-star pitchers for Seattle. We talked about Cade Anderson coming up. Should be exciting to see what he can do against big league hitters. And then for San Francisco, I'll just say first, hopefully you didn't follow my lead and start Blade Tidwell last week. I got kind of blinded, had the blinders on there with just the matchup home against Colorado, but he got rocked pretty good. So that was a whiff on my part. But Adrian Hauser is the guy who lines up for 2 for San Francisco versus Cincinnati versus Arizona. Not somebody I'd normally consider Hauser, but the home start against Cincinnati is okay. Though he does line up to be opposite Chase Burns. That might factor into the equation here.
It's a doubleheader. He could face a lesser lineup.
In the second one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes, especially if you want to get everybody in there and you're going to face the tugboat in that second game.
I love that overlay on the Little League versus Big League. Hauser only going to get 1, and that might be generous.
Which is 1 more than he's usually gotten from us.
Yeah.
So that's actually something.
Reds' offense is so bad. Aside from Sal Stewart, who...
Rookie of the Year.
Potential Rookie of the Year. Matthew Liberatore versus Baltimore versus Pitt. So he's home for 2. By the way, it's been kind of a struggle for our friend Joshua Baez since that 3-homer game, but
oh man,
still turn him loose. Versus Baltimore versus Pitt for Libby. I was thinking 3, but I don't think he's really pitched well enough to deserve that. Even with these matchups, I'm thinking he's a 2, Matthew Liberatore.
He's the guy he's crushing it on my bench, and he's stinking it up when he's in my rotation. I haven't gotten him right yet. He's been striking guys out lately, though. So I am going to give him a 3. And I told you, and my joke's been, he's Liberatore to me because I'm taking the L.
Taking the L.
I thought it was that to me is more of a year-long snare. I thought he'd be breaking out, and he hasn't for the year. But I do think he's kind of on a little bit of a run lately, and I'm going to go 3.
Okay, going 3 on Libby. All right, I got you down as a 3. We'll recap these grades here shortly. And here's 2 teams with no 2-star pitchers, Rays and the Rangers. Rays, well, they got McClanahan back, right? And maybe Griffin Jax returning.
Yeah.
At some point. Jax is getting close. Expected to make a rehab start on Sunday, so maybe.
And if it's not Jax, it's Rasmussen, who's a 5. Even though he had a speed bump lately, it's a 5.
Yeah. He's been great overall. And then for Texas, looks like Leiter, back this week. Max Scherzer. It's tough to see him go out this way. 1-6 with a 7.40 ERA versus KC versus Seattle. We had to mention in the chat that Brendan Donovan, freshly shaved, has been hitting well for Seattle.
But he's kind of on an island.
Yeah, the whole team's struggling.
He's doing his thing. He's getting on, right? He's being, even on the bases, he's pesky, and he's fielding well. But the team is just, it's ugh. Anyway.
Yeah, he had that groin surgery, I believe, at the end of last season, then some like scar tissue, which was kind of affecting him. But it does seem like he's finally back to being himself, Brendan.
Maybe he'll be the spark. Maybe it'll, it's just a couple of games. Maybe they'll pick it up.
Yeah, I actually mentioned Nasim Nunez. In Stake League, I swapped Nunez out, put Brendan Donovan at second base, and Angel Hanau in the middle infield. So just,
if you don't need steals, Nunez is a one-trick pony.
He was hitting for a little bit, Nunez, but it's just gone cold.
Off topic, we're talking stolen bases. How about what Chandler Simpson's done over the second half?
Yeah, man, he's maybe, I don't know about the most underrated, but he's kind of entered underrated territory here.
I was called out for having him as my 16th outfielder in the magazine. He's now in the top 16. I was also called out having Chase Burns as a number 8 starter. So,
you got the last lap.
Ginny, if you're out there, I accept your apology.
Chandler Simpson's still without a big league home run, but 35 steals and batting .309 this season.
The inside the Parker will come at some point.
Yeah.
And that's his only pro home runs is inside the Parker with AA.
Yeah, that's right. Kind of amazing. But back to Scherzer. Has he shown any signs of life?
Well, he's working on his next 2,000 strikeouts. Other than that,
good for him on that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And when they said the second fastest, it was at DeGrom. Maybe it was DeGrom. That's right. It was DeGrom. And maybe what I'm thinking of DeGrom and not Scherzer. I'm mixing that up.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But Scherzer, he has shown a little sign. I mean, he had a 6. He gave up 7 runs his last time out. Before that, he was showing a little something.
Yeah. Whenever I give up on these veterans, they come back and say, hold my beer. But KC in Seattle, you can't be a 0 because you got Seattle. And KC, they're not doing what they used to do, and they lost Garcia again. Gosh, I have to go 2 here. At home, I got to go 2.
Wow. Yeah, I put down a 1, but you're going 2 on sure.
It's the matchups, yeah.
Yeah. Well, here's a guy who I think has elevated himself to the 5 level. That's
in my
Cade
book,
Cavalli.
he certainly has.
Yeah, Cade Cavalli. It's just, I was optimistic coming in, then he had a rough start to the year, but he has figured it out and it's just blossomed lately. And you look at these matchups versus Colorado versus Miami. I think for the first time, I'm going to anoint Cade Cavalli a 5.
I am as well. And also, is he doing this in spite of the Nationals' development, or did the Nationals run into a few bad luck pitchers, and maybe we shouldn't be downplaying as much as we have what the Nationals have done with pitching, or haven't done with pitching.
Either way, I mean, he's definitely
he's good.
Success story. 11 strikeouts, and I think, what is his quality start streak at now? Like 1, 2, 3.
He looks
4,
the part,
5,
right?
6, 7, 8
looks confident.
Consecutive quality starts.
Yeah, he looks the part.
Yeah.
He had a little bit of a homer streak.
Sorry, that dust up with Wilson Contreras kind of sparked something within him.
Maybe, yeah, on both ends a little bit.
Yeah.
So that's one of those things where Cavalli initially, got a bad rap, and the fact that he kind of was contrite, it's the court of public opinion may not recognize that,
Mm-hmm. True. Well, finally we have Andrew Alvarez, the lefty. I wasn't really thinking much, but these matchups are just so good.
He's got good, decent stuff. I don't know what Eno's stuff grade is. I'm more of the generic term of stuff here. But he hasn't put it together yet.
Well, actually in August, 4 outings. He has a 2.42 ERA, 0.90 WHIP.
He's put it together this month, is what I meant to say.
Well, a very small sample, but he is starting to maybe put it a little something. Still 2-5 for the season, but versus Colorado, versus Miami. I know we've always said lefties at home against Colorado. Maybe that narrative's shifting a little bit, but I think I'll give him a 1, just given these matchups.
We've talked about it before. I am a little bit of a what have you done for me lately guy as far as pitching goes. I'm going to go 2.
2, okay. Well, let's recap our 2-star pitcher grades for next week, the week of August 24th, 2026. Merrill Kelly, 1. Jeffrey Springs, 0. Chris Bassett, 0. Ranger Suarez, I say 4. Todd, 3. Kevin Gossman, 4. Chase Burns, 5. Parker Messick, 5. Ryan Feltner, 0. Kyle Freeland, 0. Jose Urquidy, 2. Kiter Montero, 2. Seth Lugo, 2. George Clausen, I say 3. Todd, 2. Tyler Phillips, I say 1. Todd, 0. Zac Thornton, 3. Zach Wheeler, 5. Braxton Ashcraft, I say 4. Todd, 5. Robbie Ray, 3. Adrian Hauser, 1. Matthew Liberatore, I say 2. Todd, 3. Max Scherzer, I say 1. Todd, 2. Cade Cavalli, 5. Andrew Alvarez, 1. I say 1, and Todd, 2. We had a question about Musgrove again. We talked about him earlier in the show. I think a wait and see. I don't think you start him tonight, given how long it's been since we've seen him. Maybe some slight workload restrictions. I'd like to wait and see, personally, on Musgrove.
Yeah.
But Todd, you mentioned it earlier. We're going to be hosting MLB Network Radio tomorrow together,
Yep.
So tune in for that. Anything else on your mind today?
You know I'm not very good at tooting my own horn, mainly because I don't have a lot to toot.
Oh, come on. That's not true.
But your boy's been doing pretty well in Tau Daily this year, our DFS contest. And the tournament starts tonight. We've got 16 tickets in the tournament, and some clowns got 4 of them.
Wow.
So which is going to make losing all that much more.
Can you tip your hand on who you might use at SP tonight?
I've got 4 I'm putting in 4 lineups. I'm gonna use this is tough for me because I go with one lineup. I am a one lineup guy.
Really?
So it's gonna be tough. Literally, people are like, it's gonna be a little hard. But I won 3 of the 5 periods outright, and I ended up with the overall high score. So we'll see what happens. This used to be regular. It's been a while since I've had a good time at DFS. But yeah, so let's start tonight. We'll be tweeting about it. So check it out. The other thing we'll let people know, I mentioned a little bit, is that we have the pod I did yesterday is for the Tout Wars Champions League. It's a league that Nick Pollock put together for Tout that has a lot of the people that have been historical champions and recent champions, and we're nearing the playoffs in that. So let's we talked about it last night on a pod. Maybe we're going to live stream the championship. We'll see something. We'll see what happens. You're hanging around the head-to-head league, right?
Yeah, 3rd place. Again, it feels like I'm always playing a man down because somebody's hurt, but hopefully I'll be able to get the team in proper shape for the postseason, which is coming up real soon. It's what it's all about, just getting hot at the right time. But
yeah.
I think it's Sky Dombrowski who's just dominating everybody in that league. He's up by about 600 plus points over the next team. So, been a really impressive run for Sky Dombrowski in that league.
Good player, Fantastics. Good player.
Absolutely. Well, great stuff. Appreciate it, Todd. Looking forward to talking with you again on MLB Network Radio
Absolutely.
tomorrow. And enjoy the Cade Anderson debut.
Oh, I need one mea culpa.
Yeah.
It's a week late. I should have mentioned that this coming Sunday's game is the World Series, the Little League Classic, or the Little League. We did not talk about it last week about being in Williamsport and not being not being in the regular stadium. That's my bad. I missed it. I missed it in the rankings too. Been beating myself up for that because that's the sort of stuff that you need to know. But for those that are still listening, keep in mind that Sunday's game is in Williamsport. All right.
Good point. Yeah, and I'm just going to say, I'm going to guess at maybe Sonny Gray's in one of your lineups tonight. I know you said you're just a one lineup guy, but Sonny Gray home against San Francisco tonight.
He will be in what I consider my A lineup.
Nice. Well, appreciate it. Appreciate the lively chat as well. And, it should be fun watching Cade tomorrow. And,
for sure.
Yeah, good luck down the stretch, guys. We'll be with you.
Actually, real quick, too,
yeah.
Talking about fun watching, in half an hour, while we're recording, we're going to have in the background Jason Mizorowski and Chris Sale.
Oh, that's kind of a fun matchup, isn't it?
Standalone on today, yeah, all by itself.
Yeah, that'll be a fun one.
They're the teams for what it's worth playing in Williamsport. I should have mentioned that. In that they're playing a little early because they want to get out a little early, or they're playing an early game tomorrow so they can head out to Pennsylvania. So today's game's at 4 and not the normal 7 or 8 o'clock. Check local listings.
We don't have the Wrigley game, but we got that one at 4:10 Eastern. That should be fun.
Yeah.
Well, thanks, guys. Appreciate it. We'll be back with you next week. Hope you'll join us on the RotoWire Fantasy Baseball Podcast.